Hi guys, so here Rory here, co-founder of Sublime Trading, here with the daily update for the US and UK indices for Monday the 6th of July. Alright guys, hope you're well, hope you had a lovely weekend. So, as a reminder, last week we had NFP out on Thursday and Friday was a bank holiday in the US. So all you guys who are watching this, who are in the US, I hope you had a lovely long weekend. Now, starting with the US markets, what we saw on NFP Thursday was a gap up with at the open of play, and we saw a little bit of a continuation, and then we saw a bit of a reversal. So ultimately what we did see was further bullishness, but Thursday itself was a bit of an up and down day. Another good example of why you want to focus on the overall trend, because we saw a continuation of the overall bullish trend, but intraday there was volatility, which you do not want to get caught up in. The Nasdaq itself went on to create another new all-time high. It's just very much leading the way, and the stocks that we are in are all very much bullish and creating new all-time highs. Looking at the S&P 500 mini at the start of play today, we are seeing further bullishness. So what we would like to see is bullishness at the open of play today, and that momentum continue through today and the rest of the week. But remember, always to let price dictate exactly what it wants to do. Focus on the trend. Price isn't going to just shoot off in one direction. There'll be moves, there'll be pullbacks, there'll be breakouts, pullbacks, breakouts. Overall though, there'll be a clear trend direction, and that's what we really want to focus on. Looking at the UK market, the FTSE 100, we are seeing bullishness today. We saw bearish enter the week last week. So far today we're seeing bullishness. So whatever ground was lost on Friday, price has already recovered that today. So overall though, it's still in consolidation, but the stocks we're looking at, stocks like SMT and PCT, they're going on to create new all-time highs. We've seen further highs created today, further breakouts, and that is what we always want to focus on. We always want to focus on the long-term direction of the trend. The investors that are rewarded the most are the ones that apply patience, that follow price, let price dictate what course of action to take, that hold their positions, and that compound. The traders that struggle are the ones that caught up in intraday activity. So you want to have an investor approach. You do not want to have this day trader approach where you're glued to your screen chasing money every day. What you want is a few positions running throughout the direction of the trend on the strongest performing assets. You want to hold those positions and you want to compound, and that's what we're doing here at Sublime Trading. We're letting the indices guide us. We then focus on the assets that are performing better than the indices, and we simply keep on adding to the portfolio. We trail with trading stop losses, we risk small. It's all very well managed, it's methodical, it's proven, and it's extremely rewarding when done the right way. So that's my stance at the start of the play today, guys. So we are still very much bullish. We will continue to remain bullish until the indices dictate otherwise. So let's get into the charts.
So guys, if you're new to these daily updates, and I recommend starting with the recording that's pinned to the top of our Facebook page so that you get a good understanding of what I go through in these charts. This is our 3-screen setup, monthly in the top left, weekly in the top right, and our daily chart down here across the bottom. Starting with the S&P 500 on the monthly time frame, we can see that July is starting to display a little bit of bullishness, but ultimately we still want to see price break through the high of last year to really suggest a continuation towards the current all-time high. On the weekly time frame, price above the 200 and the 50 simple moving average. We had a bullish week last week, but we want to see price break and close above the high of June to suggest a continuation. And if we come down to the daily time frame, we can see that price is trading above all 3 moving averages. We can see Thursday's candlestick, which is NFP. Friday was, of course, bank holiday in the US, so there's no candlestick. But Thursday's candlestick started with a gap up, then a bit of bullishness, and then closed bearish. So you can see it's that intraday volatility that you do not want to get caught up in. This is where people lose a lot of money. What we want to focus on is the overall direction of the trend, which since March has been bullish, particularly now that price is trading above the 200 moving average. We have a bullish bias. But we still want to see that price break and close above the high of June to suggest a continuation. Moving across to the Nasdaq, starting with the monthly, we can see that July is continuing to create new all-time highs. On the weekly time frame, price above the 250 simple moving average. Good week last week for the bulls and trading above that 10,000 round number. And if we come down to the daily time frame, price above all three moving averages. Again, same as the S&P 500, we had a gap up at the start of Thursday, which was NFP Thursday, and then the bears came in and ended the day strong. Overall though, makes very little difference because the overall trend is bullish. Moving to the Dow Jones, starting on the monthly. Now the Dow Jones is lagging behind the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. We can see that July so far is looking a little bit bearish. On the weekly, we can see why. Price above the 200 moving average, but finding resistance at the 50 simple moving average. And on the daily time frame, we can see that price is finding resistance at the 200 simple moving average. So overall, the trend again is bullish, but we want to see price breaking close above the 200 moving average to be in alignment with the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq to then suggest a continuation. Ultimately, still waiting for the high of June to suggest a continuation. Coming down to the S&P 500 mini, if we look at today's pre-market candlestick, we can see that this is looking bullish. So ideally, what we want to see is a gap up at the start of the open, which will be quite shortly, and then we want to see a continuation to the upside throughout the rest of today and then also throughout the rest of the week. Ultimately, a break and close above the high of June will be a real positive sign for a continuation to the upside. In the meantime, remember these moves here to the upside, these bullish moves that have been happening in the market. If you look at the S&P 500 mini itself, if we look at this candlestick here, which is the 29th of June, where price found support at the 50 simple moving average, we can see that that is a move of around 6% to the upside. So that move to the upside will of course have caused further moves to the upside on some of the better performing stocks that are in our portfolio. So even though price is in this area of consolidation, the bullishness in this consolidation is what is pushing our stocks to new highs and adding more profit into the portfolio, which is why you always want to focus on the best performing stocks and not on the indices. Okay, let's move to the FTSE 100. We can see that July is starting to display bullishness. We want to see momentum to the upside. We want to see this whole area, this resistance area cleared, and then we want to start seeing further strength to the upside. On the weekly, price is below the 200 moving average and the 50 simple moving average. A bullish week so far, a bullish start to this week, and we can see why on the daily time frame. Price is above the 50 simple moving average. Today's candlestick is looking bullish. It's above the 20 simple moving average. We want to see price close above these levels, and again we want to see price move towards the high of June, clear it, move towards the 200 moving average, clear that, and then strength back towards those all-time highs. So overall though, still stuck inside this area of consolidation, but again these little bullish moves to the upside where price is bouncing off support is causing the UK stocks in our portfolio to gap up and move further to the upside and add further profit into our portfolio. So the stocks that are in our portfolio such as PCT and SMT have all gapped up today and are looking strong for a potential continuation throughout the rest of the week. But of course, as always, we want to let price dictate that. We don't want to second guess what the market is going to do. But remember, the trend is your friend until the bend at the end. And for now, the trend is very much bullish and there's no sign of a bend coming in. Okay, guys, that is me for today. Please like, comment, and share. Let's get people understanding how to use these indices correctly to build a solid investment portfolio. And I will be back tomorrow.